Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Daddy.
All dressed up and ready for the day? Wearing your best perfume?
Yes, I am, Daddy.
That's right. This is the day of the picnic. I hope it doesn't freeze off the water.
Miss Fern says there always is.
She also says it doesn't rain on the 1st of June, too. I wouldn't count on it.
Are you leaving today, Daddy?
My plane goes now. Back to Washington. And the Pentagon. And a climb to Cottle Bay.
I like Cottle Bay.
You like everything. You're just too good to be true.
How long will you be gone?
Sealed orders, darling. All I know is I'll be back as soon as I can. Now, what would you give me if I give you a basket of kisses?
I'll give you a basket of hugs.
I like your hugs.
I like your kisses, Daddy King. You're so big and strong.
Well, I'm away. Will you write to me?
Do you want me to?
Well, of course I want you to.
Then I'll write to you every day.
And every time Mr. General tells a good joke, I'll send you an official report.
Oh, Daddy, that won't be very often. You'd better send me the bad ones, too.
Sweetheart, I will. I shall agree to both my sweethearts. Unless someone started to shoot war, then we'd all have to go underground.
Would you go underground if there was a war?
Of course I would. And by gum, I go fast.
You said by gum because I was here.
That's right, I did.
Take care, sweetheart.
I will. I'll worry you in a moment around. Take care, you two. We will. Captain Lawrence and Emery, they wanted to ask about you. Okay.
Is it all right? It was perfect, darling. Breaking off.
Morning, Monica. Morning, Emmy.
Just the abusive neighbors from upstairs, darling. Not nice for home, you know, so we live other people. I speak for my brother as well, because when I'm around, he never gets a chance to speak. There, I've said enough. Say something, Colonel.
We have to say goodbye. It's an attack is here, and we need to rush through the traffic.
Don't worry about the two pretty little girls, Ken. One of them begins to look piggy, we'll stand up smoke.
We can hurry, Emily. And I'm Monica.
Goodbye, Kenneth.
Well, sweetheart, this is it. Goodbye, big eyes.
Bye, Daddy.
I promised myself I wouldn't come down, but it's just another information too. We'll get through it somehow.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Well, goodbye.
Poor boy, he hates to go, and you hate to let him go. I'm not very self-sufficient. Well, I am, and it's not very good. You're in love, both of you. You like the characters? Wish I would. Oh, by the way, nobody has to take Roy to the bus this afternoon because I made cupcakes and Miss Fern's coming to pick them up. Oh, good. But before she comes, my darling, I have two little presents for you.
Present?
Yes, the first one's from Emery. It's a pair of dark sunglasses with rhinestone decorations. He told me to tell you to keep the sun of those pretty brown eyes of yours. Try them on. Now who is this glamorous Hollywood actress? Could it really be little Rhoda Penmark who lives downstairs with her delightful parents?
I like them. Where's the cake?
Here it is. And the second one's for me. It was mine when I was 8. It's a little young for me now, but it's still just right for an 8-year-old. It has garnet in it. Will have to be changed to turquoise, since turquoise is your birthstone.
Could I have both stones? The garnet too?
Rhoda, how is she made? What a perfectly natural child. She knows what she wants, and she asks for it. Not like those over-civilized little blobs that have to go through analysis before they can choose nice things. I know I'm a little behind on the time, but I thought little girls wore coveralls and playsuits to picnics. Now you, my darling, you look like a little princess in your red and white polka dot sweat. Tell me, Rhoda, aren't you afraid you're going to scuff your shoes or soil your dress? She won't scuff the shoes and she won't soil the dress. Rhoda never gets anything dirty, so how she does it, I'll never know.
I don't like coveralls. They're not...
You mean they're not quite ladylike, don't you, my darling?
Am I to keep this now?
You're to keep it until I can get the stone changed.
Then I'll put it in my box.
Leroy. I guess I'm pretty early, Mom. But my day is windows on this side.
That's okay, Leroy. Go ahead and start in the bedroom.
Excuse me, ma'am. Morning.
I like orange, but I like turquoise better.
Tell me, Rhoda. You sound like Fred Astaire tapping across the room. What have you got on your shoes?
I run my heels over. So Mother had these iron pieces put on, so they last longer.
I can't take any credit. It was Rhoda's idea entirely.
They're very nice. They save money.
Oh, you curious little sweetheart. But I'll tell you one thing, Rhoda. I think you worry too much when you don't get everything that you want. That's one of the reasons why Emery and I thought you should have those presents today. You wanted that penmanship medal very badly, didn't you?
Yes. It's the only gold medal Miss Fern gives. And it was really mine. Everybody knew I wrote the best hand and I should have had the medal.
Excuse me. Just give me some water.
I just don't see why Claude Dago got the medal.
Or these things happen to us sometimes. When they do, we just have to accept them. I'm sorry. I know that you don't like people pawing over you.
It was mine. The medal was mine.
Rhoda, put it out of your mind.
I won't.
Leroy! Have you completely lost your senses? You've got water on Rhoda's shoes.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I guess I was just trying to hurry.
Leroy!
I'm sorry.
Leroy, I own this apartment house, and I employ you. I try to give you the benefit of the doubt because you have a family. I've often thought of you as immature, torn by irrational rages. But after this little demonstration, I see that my diagnosis was entirely too mild. You're definitely a schizophrenic with paranoid overtones. And I've had quite enough of your discourtesy and surliness, and so have the tenants in my building. My brother Emery has wanted to discharge you for some time, but I've been on your side, though with misgivings. I shall protect you no longer.
Monica, it was an accident.
I'm sure that it was.
He meant to do it. I know Leroy well.
It was no accident, Christine. It was deliberate. The spiteful act of a neurotic child.
He meant to do it. I was watching you when you made up your mind, when you went through the room.
Rhoda,
I was looking at you when you made up your mind to wed us.
I was just clumsy, that's all.
Leroy, please. Please. I've had quite enough of this, and you might as well know it. Go ahead about your work.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's a bind of an 8-year-old. But he's managed to produce a family, so I keep him on. That'll be his friend. Hello, Mr. Mark. Or Miss Byrne. We're nearly ready. Well, I'm a bit ahead of time as usual. Hello, Miss Byrne. The old scatterbrain left her 2 cupcakes on the chairs. Rhoda, will you help me bring them down?
Yes, of course.
They're all packed.
Good morning, Miss Fern.
That was a perfect curtsy, Rhoda.
Thank you, Miss Fern.
She does such things well. She does everything well, as you must know better than I. And as a person, does she fit in well at school? In what way, Mrs. Penmark? Well, Rhoda's been, I don't know quite how to say it. There's a mature quality about her that's disturbing in a child her age. My husband and I thought that a school like yours, that believed in discipline and old-fashioned virtues, might teach you to be a bit more of a child. Yes, I know what you mean. In some ways, well, in many ways, in fact, Rhoda is the most satisfactory pupil the school has ever had. She's never been absent and she's never been tardy. She's made 100 in deportment in every class, every month for a full semester, and 100 in self-reliance and conservation on the playground every semester for a full school year. If you had dealt with as many children as I have, you realize what a remarkable record that is. She's the neatest little child I've ever encountered. Kenneth says she doesn't know where she gets it, neither from him nor me. She has many other good qualities as well. She's certainly no tattletale. Oh,
One of our children broke a window across the street, and we knew that Rhoda knew the child who broke the window. But when we questioned her about it and told her that it was her duty as an honorable citizen to report the offender, she just sat there, eating her apple, shaking her head, denying she knew anything about it. And she was looking us over with that pitying, calculating look she has at certain times.
Oh, I know that look so well.
But that was admirable as well, Mrs. Penmark. She was merely being loyal to her playmate.
So then do other children like her? Is she popular?
The other children. Well, I really didn't
Here
know
we
that.
are.
Then I must be going. My sister will be waiting for me. Goodbye, Mrs. Penmark.
Goodbye, Miss Fern. Maybe you're saying that a picnic should be.
We'll take good care of Rhoda for you. No time, Rhoda. We're off.
They filled the time, didn't we, dear? Calm seas a prosperous voyage. Bless you both. Now the old set's left behind with nothing to do. I suppose that I could go through the dreary business of trying to make my face presentable. Happens every morning. Your face, think of mine. It always makes me dreary when Ken goes away. It could be so long before I see him again. There's an old saying, we die a little at parting. We die a little every day if you want to wrote about it. Come, let's make some kind of party out of this. You're having Emery and Regina for lunch today, aren't you? Yes. Well, can't I help with that? What do you feed a criminologist? Prussic acid, blue vitriol, ground glass, a hot weather thing? Nothing would hurt Regina. She thrives on buckets of blood and suds and death. How many mysteries has she written? A complete set of her works in the sort of the Empire State Building. Or me. I'm a garrulous old hag, but I can grind glass. Come on, we're not going to let you be lonely.
That know-it-all Monica breeds up. She don't think nobody knows nothing but her. And that young trop-fed Mrs. Petmark. Rhoda now. Now that's a smart little girl. She's right through me. But I see through her. Man, she's smart.
Come now, they believe you.
You mean it's automatic flattery. They know I'm old enough, but they voiced out to make me feel better. Anyways, it wasn't Dr. Poison analyzer. It was Dr. Kettlebomb. Not that I minimize Freud's professional standing, for I still consider him a great genius of our time. It was just that, while Dr. Kettlebomb, he was more simpatico, if you know what I mean, Regina.
It means a particle. You know what that means.
Freud loathes American women. Really? Especially the ones who talk back to him. Marvelous systematic prejudice against feminine independence, which he couldn't conceal. Was Freud prejudiced? Indeed he was. Not consciously, you understand. He just bristled every time I mentioned that females were more important than men. That's Dr. Kettlebomb. He believes in the power of the individual soul. His mind was, less literal, more mystic, like my own. Monica, really? Did the analysis do any good, actually? Well, it broke up my marriage.
Can't we talk about something else?
What are you trying to prove, Emery? Why don't we all just relax and have our iced tea over here? Yes, we've got to psychiatry. Let's try homicide. You're the expert, Regina. All right.
I'll oblige.
I've been collecting data on Mrs. Allison lately. News Budget wants an article on her, but I can't say she's a very flaming subject. Just an unimaginative nurse who decided she was in the position to kill folks off with her life insurance, and ran through quite a list before anyone suspected her.
Was this recent?
Well, last year and the year before. She'd still be going unless she was too stupid to vary her poison. With the result that all her victims had similar symptoms: nausea, burning throat, intestinal pain, convulsions, to say nothing of the conventional life insurance made out to the old girl with the arsenic.
Please, I don't want to hear about such things.
You don't?
No.
Now that's an interesting psychic block. Why would Christine dislike hearing about murders?
I don't know. I have an aversion to violence of any kind. I even hate that revolver that Kim keeps in the house.
Do you hate the revolver more than the poison?
I hate them both.
Why don't we try this? Regina, you go on with the story, and Christine, you say the first thing that comes to your mind. No matter how silly it sounds to you, just shout it out. So Regina, go on with the story, and Christine can associate.
Oh, nonsense, Monica.
Well, what do you mean associate?
Just say the first thing that comes to mind, because whatever you think will be an associated idea.
Oh.
Well, the end of the story was like this. Towards the middle of May, last year, Mrs. Allison went to visit her sister-in-law's family. She got there in time for lunch, and her niece Shirley reminded her that she had promised to bring a present for her birthday. Mrs. Allison was so upset about forgetting the present that she hurried into town to buy candy and soft drinks for the family.
Do you think of anything yet?
Or nothing at all.
Actually, Mrs. Allison had bought a gift. It was 10 cents worth of arsenic.
Come now, you must think of something. Anything.
Well, what I was thinking was how devoted the Burns sisters were to my father during the war when he was a radio commentator.
I don't think I understand, but that's interesting. How did you know of this?
They told me when I enrolled Rhoda in their school.
Did your father live in Bravo?
Yes.
I thought so. The whole world was devoted to him during World War II.
Yes, I listen to Bravo every evening.
Is there more to the story, Regina?
Oh yes, when Mrs. Allison got back from town, she opened a bottle of sarsaparilla for her niece and watched the little girl's convulsions for over an hour.
Okay, Christine. What's your second association? No editing, no skipping.
What I was thinking then was even sillier. I was thinking of how I've always had this feeling that the Bravos weren't my real parents and that I was adopted.
Oh, you poor dear. Don't you know the changeling fantasy is the most common among children? I used to believe I was a foundling with royal blood. I was a Plantagenet, I believe. Emery was the tutor. But did you always have the suspicion that you were adopted?
Yes.
But no proof?
Only that I have dreams about it.
What kind of dreams?
Monica must be looking at my dreams too. I know to hear the rest of your story.
Okay, Regina can go on with the story. We'll hear more from Christine later.
Well, Mrs. Allison hurried into town on an urgent errand. She hadn't paid the current premium on the policy on Shirley's life, and this was the last day of grace. Well, Mrs. Allison certainly was crude. But there have been artists in her line, really gifted operators, like Bessie Baker. Bessie never made a mistake, never left a trace, never committed an imperfect crime. Who is this? The most amazing woman in all the annals of homicide, Bessie Baker. She is beautiful, she is brainy, she is ruthless. She never used the same poison twice. Her own father, for example, that of rabies, supposedly contracted from a mad dog. It just so happens all his money went to Bessie.
Did you say Bessie Danker?
Yes.
Excuse me,
I think Christina's had enough of this already. Can we talk about something else?
We certainly could.
No, I'm all right. It's nothing at all. Let's hear more about Dr. Kettlebone.
If you leave it to Monica, she has three subjects. Sex, psychiatry, and pills. Sex and psychiatry are synonymous. You better try pills.
By pills, Emery means the modern discoveries of the pharmaceutical field that have revolutionized medicine since 1935. If you took them, Emery, you'd be a better man.
Well, I should have looked at this before. I have a lecture today at 3:30, and I won't be much ahead of time if I start now. Will you forgive me for filling that horror story, Mrs. Penmark?
Well, you must forgive me. I'm quite unreasonable when I hear about such things. I have some sort of phobia of reading it.
Well, I'm sick of the Blair stuff myself, and I'll keep on with the eternal living. So let's be friends.
Of course.
I do have to go. Goodbye, Monica.
Goodbye, Bluebeard.
Goodbye, Reggie. I hear the redfish are running.
Oh, good.
Wonder if it'd be about time for the news. You mind, Christine?
Of course not. I'll clear all this up. I'll help you.
Nothing more important has happened for many years in the field of foreign affairs. I interrupt this broadcast I have been asked to announce that one of the children of the annual outing of the Fern Grammar School has accidentally drowned in the bay this afternoon. The name of the victim is being withheld until the parents are first notified. More news will catch the parents expected momentarily. This is station WN.
Wasn't Ryder. It certainly wasn't Ryder. What is two summary minor child? It was son. You make confused, youngster.
To return to local affairs, I am now authorized to give the name of the victim from the drowning at the Fern School picnic. It was Bob Daigle. The other child is Mr. and Mrs. Bright Daigle at 126 Willow Street. He appears to have fallen into the water from abandoned work on his own property. It is a mystery how the little boy got on the work, for all the children have been forbidden to play near or on it, but his body was found at the end of the landing, wedged among the colonies. The guards who got up the body tried artificial respiration without result. There are bruises on the forehead and hands, but it is assumed it was caused by the body washing against the pilot. And now back to the national news.
That poor child. That poor little boy. They'll be sending the children home.
We'll do that at a picnic.
Monica, I don't know what to say to her. Rhoda's only 8. I know that I didn't know about death or didn't touch me closely until I was much older. The teacher that I adored died. My whole world changed in darkness. We'd better go. This isn't a good time for well-meaning neighbors to stand on the sidelines. But Monica, I don't know what to say to her. This is between you and Rhoda.
You'll meet it better alone. Honestly, you will.
I guess so. Thank you, Monica. Thank you both. Show Miss Lodge so I'd better make her a sandwich. Will we be upstairs if you need anything?
Mother, you know, we really didn't get to have our lunch today because Claude Daigle was drowned.
Yes, I know. It was on the radio.
He was drowned. And so everyone was rushing and calling and hurrying to see if they could make him alive again, but they couldn't. So then they said the picnic was over and we had to go home.
I'm glad you're
So
home.
could I have a peanut butter sandwich and milk?
Did you see him, dear?
Yes. Then they put a blanket over him.
Did you see him take it from the water?
Yes. They laid him out on the lawn and worked, but nothing helped.
I want you to get those pictures right out of your mind. I don't want you to be scared or frightened at all. These things happen sometimes, darling, and when they do, we just have to accept them.
I thought it was exciting. So could I have a peanut butter sandwich and milk, please?
Yes, I'm already getting it ready for you. Here you are, darling. Dear, you're But just the same, this was an unfortunate thing to see and remember. I know how you feel, darling.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mother. I don't feel any way at all.
Rhoda, have you been naughty?
Why no, Mother? What will you give me if I give you a basket of cookies?
I'll give you a basket of pies.
I'm gonna go skate out on the asphalt.
Be careful, dear.
How come you go skating and enjoying yourself when your poor little schoolmate is still dead from drowning in the bay? Seems to me like you'd be in the house, crying your eyes out, or in church, burning a candle in a blue cup.
Bye, Mother.
Bye, Rhoda.
You know, if you ask me, I'd say that you don't even care about what happened to that little boy.
Why should I care? It was Claude Daigle got drowned, not me.
In the night, he lifted his feet and sought what he could find out of his labyrinth. In a path appearing, he began to make his way along it. And it began at that time to grow dark. Night had not gone more than a dozen paces before he saw beside the path a beautiful lady who laid out a fair damask cloth on her nose and set around cakes and dainties and a flag on 2 silver cups.
Mommy,
Yes?
why aren't you reading?
Oh, I was just thinking, I guess.
What about? The accident?
Partly, and about my toll phone call. The circuits were busy.
What are cakes and dainties?
Little cakes, I think. And set there on cakes and dainties, and a flag on 2 silver cups. Night, she called. Night. Come eat and drink with me, for you are hungry and thirsty, and I am all alone. Did you take your vitamins, dear?
I took one before. This is the second. I was saving it because I left the Jeep. This is wonderful. Having you meeting me out here like this?
You better take the last one now, or you'll be too sleepy later.
Okay. I'll close my eyes, but I won't be asleep.
I know. Then the knight answered her, I thank you, fair lady, for I am not only hungry and thirsty, but I am lost within the forest. Then he let his cavalry graze nearby, and he feasted with ladies, who gave him loving looks, sweeter than wine from a flagon. The wine was sweet and strong, and in this fashion, the time passed till the light was gone out of the wood, and it was dark. The knight heard the music of harpers softly playing, and he perceived that a fair pavilion stood nearby under the oak trees, lighted by a torch at the entrance, where there were servants going to and fro. And he was aware that the pavilion had not been there in daylight, but had been created out of darkness by magic. Rhoda? Rhoda? Yes, I did take the call to Washington, D.C. Mr. Richard Broadway. That's right. Bethesda 17293. Daddy? I'm so glad I found you at home. I've been trying to reach you all night. I saw Kenneth in Washington. How is he? Tell him that I love him and I'm finishing my first letter to him tonight. Yeah, you said in your last letter that you might be coming to Tallahassee. Couldn't you come by and see me? Well, it's not really that far from here. Could you please, Daddy? No, it's something like that. We're both all right. Daddy, do you remember that recurrent dream? The one I used to have when I was a little girl? And I'm beginning to have it again and again. I know what the Cordations say, but even they tell you that dreams don't have any past but your own. No, nobody. All right, dear, I'll be good. And you will come see me, won't you? All right, I love you. I've seen her several times, and each time she's asked me to find out from you that if you had any possible clue to where the penmanship medal might be. Was it lost? Yes. It wasn't found with the body and it completely disappeared. She wasn't aware of it. Not.
Good morning, Miss Fern.
Good morning, Rhoda.
Mother, could I sit under the Scuppernut Arbor for a while and read my book?
Of course, Rhoda.
It's shady there, and you can see me from the window, and I can see you from the window, and I like to see where I can be seen.
Is it a new book?
Yes, it's Elsie Dinsmore, the one I won for a prize at Sunday school.
I'll be right here.
I'll be right there all the time. Goodbye, Miss Fern.
Goodbye, Rhoda. It did occur to me that perhaps Rhoda told you a detail or two which she hadn't mentioned to me when we talked. You see, she was the last to see the little beggar boy alive. I wasn't aware of this. Yes. About an hour after we arrived at the estate. One of the older children came by Rhoda and the beggar boy at the far end of the grounds. The beggar boy was crying and Rhoda was standing there blocking his path. The older girl was concealed in the trees and neither child saw her. She was about to intervene, however, when Rhoda snatched at the beggar boy's medal, and she took off running down the beach in the direction of the wharf. Rhoda followed her, not running, just walking along, the older girl said. Has it occurred to you that this older girl might not have been telling the truth? That is not at all likely, Mrs. Penmark.
She was one of the monitors we'd appointed to watch the younger children. She's 15 and she's been with us since kindergarten days. She was telling us precisely what she saw.
And this is the last time you saw these things?
Yes. About a half hour later, one of the guards saw Rhoda coming off the wharf. He shouted a warning to her, but by that time she was already on the beach. He didn't identify the child by name, but he did say that she was wearing a red dress. And Rhoda was the only child to wear a dress that day. A few minutes later, the lunch bell rang, and when Roll was taken, Claude couldn't be found. I think you know the rest of the story.
It's a very serious charge. Rhoda was
Not serious, really, Mrs. Penmark. When you see how much children behave as I have. Perhaps Rhoda did follow the Dago boy onto the wharf. So many things could have happened quite innocently. Suppose he concealed himself in the boathouse. And then when he was discovered, he backed up and fell into the water. Now, Claude looked very frail, but he was an excellent swimmer, and of course Rhoda knew this. So she would have expected him to swim ashore. But how was she to know that the pilings were at the exact spot where he fell?
No, she couldn't have possibly.
Maybe the thought in Rhoda's mind when he fell into the water was that he'd ruined his new suit, and she was scolding for causing it. And then he didn't swim ashore at once. She may have thought, with the logic of childhood, that he was hiding under the wharf to frighten or to escape her. Then later, after she couldn't admit what had happened, it was too late.
That could have happened.
Don't worry. I'm sure everything's fine.
She has lied, though.
Is there any adult who hasn't lied, Mrs. Penmark?
I'll talk to Rhoda.
I wish you would. Though I doubt you'll learn more than you already know.
There's something that I wanted to talk to you about. At Claude's funeral, there was a floral tribute given to him by the children of your school. And I suppose the children shared the expense, but no one has asked me to pay any part of it.
Well, the floral tribute wasn't quite as expensive as the paper seemed to think. The money has been collected and the flowers are paid for.
Haven't you telephoned me and I was out?
No. We thought you might like to send flowers individually.
Why should I send flowers individually? Rhoda wasn't friendly with the boy, and my husband and I have never met the Dago.
Well, I really can say, my dear, there are four of us, and in a hurry, we mixed up a things.
You make excuses for Rhoda, and then you don't ask us to pay for the flowers. And the reasons you give are obviously specious. Does this mean that in your mind, and the minds of your sisters, there is some connection between Rhoda's presence on the wharf and the Dago boy's death?
I refuse to believe that there's any connection.
But you've acted as if there were.
Perhaps we have.
This is a terrible tragedy for the Dago. As you say, she has lost her only child. But as for Rhoda, if there was some shadow over her, then I want to live under it. My husband and I want to live under it. And as for Rhoda, she would not be happy in your school next year.
No, she would not. And since she would not, it would be as well that we decide today Rhoda will not be there next year.
Then you've already decided not to invite her back.
Yes, we have made that decision.
And you can't tell me why.
I think her behavior in the matter of the medal would be sufficient explanation, Mrs. Penmark. Rhoda has no sense of fair play. She's a poor loser. She doesn't seem to play the game now, does she?
But you're not saying there's any connection between her and the Dago boy's death.
Such a possibility has never entered our mind.
I better answer it.
Yes.
Yes? Thanks. I'm Mrs. Dago with my sister-in-law, Selma. You didn't have to let us sit now. You realize the quality. We shouldn't have, but I'm a little drunk. I guess you never get a little drunk. You're quite welcome, both of you. Never mind her. She's all for a good reading. She was going to try to stop me from coming here. Now you, Mrs. Penmark, you always have plans. You're a superior person.
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are. Father was rich. Rich, Richard Bravo, I know. Me, I worked in a beauty parlor. Miss Spring is coming down. look down on me.
Mrs. Daigle, please.
I was at something for next. Now I've lost my boy on the ledge, and everybody knows it.
We're worried about Mrs. Daigle. She's not herself. She's under a doctor's care.
I know what it was about, so say. Just say. Can I call you Christy? I'm quite aware that you come from a higher level of society, and that you probably made a you and all that. Oh, I always consider the things such as dental names. Hortense self-blasphemy. That's me, Hortense. My girl, Hortense. That's what they used to know. Hasn't got much sense. Let's write her name on pretty sense.
Please, please.
You're so attractive, Christine. You have such exquisite taste in clothes. Of course, you probably have ample of money to buy it with. What I came to talk to you about, I asked Miss Fern how fly house was metal, and she would tell me a thing.
I don't know anything, Mrs. Daigle. Truly, I don't.
You know more than you're telling. But you're a fly woman in the school. You don't want the school to get a bad name. But you know more than you're saying, Miss Fern. Just so you say the whole thing. I said so over and over to Mr. Daigle. He married quite late, you know, in his 40s. Of course, I wasn't exactly what the fellow was called in kids either. We won't be having any more children. No more.
Please, Hortense, let me take you home and rest.
Rest? Sleep? When you can't sleep at night, you can't sleep in the day. I lie and I look at the water where he went down. There's something funny about the whole thing. I heard that your little girl was one of the last to see my child alive. Will you ask her about the last few minutes? And maybe she remembers something. Anything. You know something? Miss Fern dyes her hair. She knows something that she's not going to tell me. Oh, well, what does he do to you? There's something funny about the whole thing. We can work this simple clothes now. I could never wear simple clothes. I couldn't even buy them. He was just a lovely little boy. Just a lovely, dear little boy. He said I was his sweetheart and that he was going to marry me. And I used to laugh and I'd say, no, you're not going to marry me. You'll find somebody prettier and marry her. And you know what he said? He said, no, I won't because there's nobody in the whole world as pretty as you. And if you don't believe me, you can ask her who comes and please. She was there that day.
Oh, Hortense.
I'll stop you, Rhoda Horton. If there's anything I can do, why don't you put your arms around me? You don't give a damn about me. You're superior. And I drank half a bottle of Bonnet corn and little sips. I've got this help. That poor woman. I would try to think of any little thing I could tell her. Nothing seems to help. Nothing will help. Nothing will ever help. No. I'll be going now.
Thank you for putting up with me. And
I'll talk to Rhoda. If there's anything that I can do to help that poor creature.
We must both do what we can, Mrs. Penmore. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Rose.
She will have to live with this for the rest of her days. So shady and pretty, and I love sitting in it.
Answer my question. And remember, I'm not as innocent about what's going on and thinking as you think. Miss Byrne has told me a great deal, so don't bother to make up any stories for my benefit. How did Claude Dangle's medal get in your drawer? It certainly didn't get in there by itself.
I don't know how the medal got there, Mother. How could I?
You know very well how it got there. Did you go on the wharf at any time during the picnic? At any time?
Yes, I went there once.
Was it before or after you was bothering Claude?
I wasn't bothering Claude, Mother. What makes you say that?
Well, then why did you go on the wharf?
It was real early when we first got there.
Why did you go on the wharf when you knew it was forbidden?
One of the big boys said there were oysters that grew on the pilot. I wanted to see if they did.
One of the guards said he saw you coming off the wharf, and it was a little before lunchtime.
He's wrong. And I told Miss Burney was wrong. He hollered at me to come off the wharf, and I did. And then I went back to the lawn, and that's where I saw Claude. But I wasn't bothering him.
What did you say to Claude?
I said, if I didn't win the medal, I was glad he did.
Honey, please. I know that you're an adroit liar, but I must have the truth.
But it's all true, Mother. Every word.
One of the monitors said that she saw you try and snatch the medal off Claude's shirt. Now, is that true? Every word?
Oh, that big girl was Mary Beth Musgrove. She told everybody she saw me. Even Leroy knows she saw me. You see, Claude and I were just playing a game we made up. He said if I could catch him and touch the medal with my hand, I could wear the medal for 10 minutes. It was like a prisoner's face. If I touched the medal, then he'd let me wear it. I don't know how Mary Beth could say I took the medal. I didn't.
She didn't say that you took the medal. She said that you grabbed at it. And Claude ran away down the beach. Did you have the medal even then?
No, Mommy, not then.
Or how did you get the medal?
Oh, it was later on.
How?
Claude went back on his promise. So he ran down the beach, and I followed him. And he stopped and said that if I gave him 50 cents, he'd let me wear the medal all day.
Is that the truth?
Yes, Mother. I gave him 50 cents, and he let me wear the medal.
Then why didn't you tell us to Miss Fern when she questioned you?
Mommy, Miss Fern doesn't like me at all. I was afraid she'd think bad things about me if she knew I had the medal.
Or did you know how much Miss Bingle won the medal, didn't you?
I guess so.
Then why didn't you give it to her? Miss Bingle's heartbroken over Claude's death. It's destroyed her. I don't think that she'll ever recover from it. Do you know what I mean?
Guess so.
No, you don't know what I mean.
But it was silly to want to bury Claude with the medal pinned on his coat. Claude was dead. He wouldn't know whether the medal was pinned on him or not. I've got the prettiest mother. I tell everyone I've got the prettiest mother in the whole world. If she wants a little boy that bad, why doesn't she go to the orphan's home to get one?
Rhoda, get away from me. We don't have anything to say to each other.
Okay.
Rhoda, when we lived in Baltimore, there was an old lady who lived upstairs, Miss Clara Pope. She was old and very fond of you, and you used to go and see her every afternoon. She used to show you all her treasures, and the one that you admired most was the crystal ball, in which opals floated. The old lady promised this treasure to you when she died. One day, when her daughter was out shopping, and you were alone with the old lady, she somehow missed her footing and fell down the spiral back stairs and broke her neck. You said that she heard a kitten meowing outside and went to see about it, and slipped and fell 5 flights into the courtyard below.
Yes, it's true.
And then you asked the daughter for the crystal ball, and she gave it to you. And it's still hanging at the head of your bed.
Yes.
Rhoda, did you she had anything to do, anything at all, no matter how little, with the plot they all standing ground?
Why do you ask that, Mother?
Come here and look me in the eyes and tell me the truth.
No, Mother, I didn't.
You're not going back to the front school next year. They don't want you there anymore.
Okay.
I'm calling Miss Thorne to ask her to come over.
She'll think I lied to her.
You did lie to her.
But not to you, Mother. Not to you.
Hello, Principal. Miss Claudia Thorne, please. No message. She's not home yet.
What would you say to her?
Can't be true. Can't be true. Anybody here?
Aunt Monica.
Hi, honey.
Mother.
Monica! Steve! You said I might have photos for a while, and this package came for you. Monica, you're always a bringer of gifts. This time it's not for me. It was in the package room. Oh, it's for Rhoda, from Daddy.
For me?
In anticipation of her 9th birthday.
What does anticipation mean?
I'm looking forward to. Not to be opened until...
Oh, it's a long time. But I'll wait.
What a perfect little sweetheart.
She'll wait.
No, Rhoda, there's more in Daddy's writing. Open this one now, there'll be a real one later.
He wants me to open it now?
If all I have to do is get some scissors.
Hurry, dear. Hurry. There's Excelsior. I can see it.
Rhoda, this should be opened in the kitchen. I wish you were mine. Every time I see her, I wish I had such a little girl. I'm not going to the front school next year. Why? She doesn't fit in. Doesn't play the game. The poor sport. Honestly, the longer I live, the more I see, the less I can understand the tight little minds of the girls prefer school. The truth is, she's too clever for them, too charming. She makes these other girls look stupid and strawberry by comparison. Oh, by the way, do I have photos for dinner tonight? Of course. Regina Tasker's coming over to talk about some flirting that I want to done. That's good. She doesn't need to hear about her murder mysteries. Rhoda, you're to have dinner with me tonight.
I am? May I bring my new puzzle?
Of course you may. Is that what it was?
I think it must be the best jigsaw puzzle in the whole world.
Leroy.
Oh, Leroy. There was a lot of Excelsior.
Don't bother to sleep, Leroy. I'll do it later.
It's a map of Asia with all the animals.
I have an aversion to cobras, but it's Freudian.
Mrs. Penrod, there's a bunch of this stuff scattered around.
Don't let us squeeze it, dear. I better go out there and check my simmering meat sauce.
Is it spaghetti?
It is. Approved?
My favorite.
Come up any time. It should be nearly ready. Bye, Christine. And bye, Monica. Mrs. Penmar? Yes, this is her door. Western Union's for you, dear.
Is it Daddy?
Not your daddy this time. It's mine.
Grandfather?
Yes. He's coming here tonight. You can sleep. I think mine goes next room. I better go up and ask her. I'll be right back.
There she sits at the little table, doing a puzzle, looking all cute and innocent, looking like she couldn't melt butter. Exactly. She can put on some people that innocent look she can put on and off, but not me. Not even partway. She can't fool me. She don't like to talk to people that are smart, just people she can fool, like her mom. And Mrs. Breedlove, and Mr. Emily.
Go and see the garbage. You talk silly all the time. I know what you do with the Excelsior. You made a bed of Excelsior in the garage, behind that old couch, and you sleep there where nobody can see you.
I've been way behind the times to hear the poor little miss. But now I got your number. I've been hearing things that ain't nice about you. I've been hearing that you beat up that Claw boy. And it took all three of the furnaces to pull you off him. I heard that you run that boy out of the war. He was so scared.
If you tell lies like that, you won't go to heaven when you die.
I heard plenty. I listen to people talk. Unlike you, it's always gabbing all the time. And won't let anybody get a word in edgewise.
Go and see the garbage.
I know what you did to that boy when you got him out on the wall. And you better listen to me if you don't want to get into big trouble.
People tell lies all the time. I think you tell them more than anybody else.
You know what you did when you got that boy out on the wall? You took a stick and you hit him with it. You hit him with it because he wouldn't give you the medal, like you told him to. You know, I thought I'd seen some mean little girls in my lifetime, but you are mean. You want to know how I know how mean you are? Because I'm mean. I'm smart and I'm mean. And you're smart and you're mean. I never get caught, and you never get caught.
I know what you think. I know everything you think. Nobody believes anything you say.
You know what you did when you got that boy out on the wall? You jerked the middle off his shirt, and then you rolled that poor boy off the wall, among them pies.
You're silly. None of what you said is true.
You know I'm telling the God's truth. You know I got it figured out.
You figured out something that never happened, and so it's all lies. Go and see the Excelsior and put it where you can sleep on it when you're supposed to be working.
You ain't no dope. That I'm mistake. That's why you leave that stick out where everybody can see it. No. You got more sense than that. You took that stick and you washed it off good. And then you hid it in the woods where nobody could see it.
You talk silly all the time.
It was you who was silly. Because you thought you could wash off blood. And you can't.
Why can't you wash off blood?
Because you can't. The police know that. You can wash him off, but there's always some left. I'm going to call the police, and I'm going to tell them that you hit that stick. The police, they got what they call stick bloodhounds to help them look. Now, these stick bloodhounds, they can find any stick that's got blood in it. And when they find that stick that you washed off so good, they'll sprinkle a special blood powder on it. And the blood will show up on the stick. It'll show up a pretty blue color, like a robin hood.
You're scared about the police yourself. What you say about me, it's all about you. They'll get you with that powder.
far as I'm concerned, I wish it was more excelsior. I could use more.
What were you saying to Rhoda?
Nothing, Mrs. Penhall. We was just talking. She said it was a big box of excelsior.
Just the same, you're not to speak to her anymore. If you do, I'll report you. Is that entirely clear?
Yes, ma'am.
It was my fault, Mama. I told him it was a map of Asia, and I hardly know where anything is in Asia.
Very well, but don't speak to her.
Yes, ma'am.
You may go now, Leroy. You're really working in the dark here, dear. I think you're going to strain your eyes looking over all these things.
Mother, is it true that the police will know when blood is washed off something by putting the special powder on it?
I don't know how they test for blood, but I guess Regina Tasker or Miss Byrne, she might.
No, don't ask her. Mommy, nobody helps me. Nobody believes me. I'm your little girl and I'm all alone.
It's not a very good act, Rhoda. You may have proved it enough to convince someone else to know you, but at present, it's easy enough to see through.
Maybe I'd better go up to Monica's and have dinner.
Yes, she said in time. Good evening, Miss Tasker.
Good evening.
This is my daughter, Rhoda.
Hello, Rhoda. Wasn't she a little sweetheart?
Thank you.
I bet that makes a lot of young men wish they were married.
You like little girls to curtsy?
It's the best thing left out in the Middle Ages.
I'm going upstairs to have dinner.
The loss is ours. All ours.
You may go now, Rhoda.
Well, that's a little red sunshine, that one, isn't she?
I've seen her stormy.
No doubt, but she's going to make some man very happy. Just that smile.
Since I talked to you last, I've had a telegram from my father. He's coming here tonight.
Bravo's coming?
Yes, he said perhaps for dinner.
You know, there's a man I've always wanted to meet.
Well, he may be here before long.
Good. By the way, if you're thinking about writing a mystery story, Bravo was quite an authority on crimes and criminals early in his career.
Yes, I know that he was.
He could probably help you more than I could. Before he began covering the war, he covered practically all the horror cases from Leopold to Lovan.
Well, what will be?
Gin and tonic?
Good, I'll have one too. You see, Miss Tasker, the story I was thinking of writing made me wonder. Well, do children ever commit murders? Or is crime something that's just learned gradually and grows as the criminal grows, so that only adults do really dreadful things?
Well, I've thought about that a lot lately. Saw several authorities I've consulted. Yes, children have often committed murders, and quite clever ones too. Some murderers, particularly the distinguished ones, who are going to make a great name for themselves, start amazingly early.
In childhood?
Oh yes, just like musicians and mathematicians. Poets develop later. There's never been anything worthwhile written in poetry before the age of 18 or 20. But Mozart showed his genius at 6, and Pascal was a master mathematician at 12. Some criminals were top-flight authors before they were out of their short pants and pinafores.
They grew up in the slums, among criminals, and learned from their environment? I wonder if that could be father.
If it is, I'd like to stand to you for a moment.
That's understood. Daddy!
Oh, darling, I'm early. I guess I am something of a jerk. But you said you wanted to see me, and I wanted to see you.
I'm so glad. Father, this is Regina Tasker.
One of my favorites.
Puts you to sleep regularly?
Sometimes keeps me awake. You've done some impressive research for the Thoughts of Crime Club.
Now I've always thought the best papers that were ever written were by Richard Bravo.
Oh, he's written himself out and he's knocked himself out. Now he's wandering around the countryside working for a second-rate news service.
Are you really looking into this offside oil?
But that's what they've got me doing. But I took off and left them, for the moment anyway. I wanted to see my long-lost daughter.
You know, I sometimes wanted to ask you if you've ever considered turning back to the criminology racket. There's been nobody like you since you left.
Well, all compliments aside, my later books didn't sell as well as my earlier ones. Then the war came along. Now I just write filler.
Well, you've written some things that won't be forgotten.
Less so.
And now your daughter's going to try her hand.
At writing, she can't even spell.
I do get lonely here at Castaway, and I thought that I'd try and work out a murder mystery sometime in the evenings.
And you're encouraging this competition?
Well, I was rather stumped by her last question. She's wondering whether criminal children are always the product of the environment.
There's nothing difficult about that. They are. Can I have some of this weekend mixture you're laughing at?
Of course, Daddy. I'm sorry. Do you really always think they're a product of the environment?
Always.
I couldn't prove you wrong, of course, but some doctor friends of mine assure me that we've all been putting too much emphasis on environment lately, and too little on parade. They say there's a type of criminal born with no capacity for remorse or guilt, born with the type of brain that may have been normal among humans 50,000 years ago.
And do you believe all this?
Well, yes, I guess I do.
Well, I don't.
I've been convinced there are people, only a few, and certainly very unfortunate, who are incapable from the beginning of acquiring a conscience or moral character, not even able to love except physically, no feeling for right or wrong.
I've heard such assertions, but I've never found any evidence behind it. If you find a human without any pity, compassion, or morals, they grew up in a place where those things weren't encouraged. That is final and absolute. All this stuff you're talking about is Tommy Rock.
Do your doctor friends have any evidence?
Well, they can't prove it yet, but they think there are such people. They say there are children born into the best of families with every advantage of education and discipline, who just never acquire any moral scruples. It's as if they were born blind. You couldn't expect to teach them to see.
And do they look like brutes?
Are you sold on this?
I just want to find out.
Well, sometimes they do, but more often they present a more convincing picture of virtues than normal folks. A wax rosebud or a plastic peach can often seem more perfect than the real thing. They imitate humanity beautifully.
That's horrible.
Well, some of them seem to have done some pretty horrible things and kept on looking sweet and innocent.
Now, I like to examine the evidence. Until we do, there's not much sense in discussing this further.
Well, I'd like to go into that with you, Mr. Bravo. This clinic I frequent didn't want to go to the conclusion that there are bad seeds. Just plain bad from the beginning and nothing can change them.
And this favorite murders of yours, was she an example?
Bessie Dinker? Was she a bad seed? She may have been because the deaths began so early in her vicinity. Bessie gained the sobriquet of the destroying angel in early childhood.
Then she began young.
Oh yes, the name wasn't applied to her until much later, when the full story of her career came out, but Bessie was lethal and accurate from the very beginning. One of her most famous murders involved the use of the deadly mushroom known as the destroying angel, and some clever reporter transferred the name to her. As a matter of fact, it was a colleague of Mr. Bravo's unless I've missed something.
I don't remember. I'm in oil now.
Tell me, how did she end?
You don't want to probe into this mess, sweetheart.
Yes, I do.
Can't we change the subject?
No, darling, I have to find out. Tell me, how did she end?
Well, there's the mystery. By the time the authorities got really roused her, she disappeared from the Middle West. She had quite a fortune by that time, and the fellow that seems to know the most about her maintains that she went to Australia. A similar beauty emerged in Melbourne by the name of Beulah Demarest. So if it was the same person, she didn't have to change the initials on her linen or silver.
Did she ever use violence?
Well, you were a famous essay listing on her methods, Mr. Bravo. You must know better than I.
Oh, not at all. I've forgotten all that. I haven't even read the recent literature.
Well, she made a specialty of poisons, studied not only drugs and toxins, but the lives of those she wished to kill. It's practically impossible to prove murder when the victims out of a rattlesnake den in western Colorado, too many diamondbacks about, and tetanus can be picked up in any barnyard. She made use of such things. It all came to a sudden end. She took off for parts unknown, leaving, no, wasn't there a child? A little girl.
Not that I know of. That must be some recent addition to this myth.
Was she ever found out here?
No, not in this country. Three jurors looked at that lovely dewy face and listened to that melting cultured voice and said she couldn't have done it.
She wasn't convicted?
Not guilty, 3 times.
And you think that she was one of these poor, deformed children, born without any pity?
Personally, I do.
Did she have an enchanting smile?
Dazzling by all accounts.
She was doomed.
Absolutely. Doomed to commit murder after murder, until somehow or other she's found out.
She'd been better off if she'd died again.
And society would. Yet sometimes I wonder whether these malignant brutes will not be the mutation that survives on the planet. This age of technology and murder for empire, maybe the softies will have to go. The snake-hearted will inherit the earth.
Well, I'm betting on the democracy.
And so am I. But let's face it, we're living in an age of murder. In all of history, there have never been so many people murdered as in ours. Add up all the murders from the beginning of history to 1900, then add up all the murders after 1900, and our century wins, all alone. Now on that merry note, I think I should take my leave. For I meant not to bother you, I'm afraid I've been lecturing.
You've got a highly questionable theory there about heredity.
Well, I'd like to go into that with you when there's more time.
Let's do that next time I'm in town.
Right. And now, Miss Penmark, I should say good evening. I'm afraid the pleasure's been all mine.
I'll call you early on in the week.
I'm always about it. Good night, sir.
Good night, Miss Thatcher.
Goodbye.
Are you really planning to write something?
I was just asking a question. You saw Kenneth in Washington.
Oh, and he's looking well. As well as a man can look when he's hot, sticky, tired, and most of all lonesome.
We were planning to go somewhere this summer, but there's a sudden change of orders.
Am I looking too closely? There's something heavy on your mind.
The show in my face?
When everything shows in your face, it always did.
I'm not sure that I'm worried about anything, now that you're here.
Tell you the truth, you're the magic for me, too. I'd always wanted a little girl, and you were everything lovely a little girl could be for her old dad. But what was it that you wanted to ask me the night that you phoned?
Let me just think about it for a minute. Would you like another drink?
Well, let me fix something. Would you like more gin tonic?
No, thank you.
And speak up. This is between us, whatever it is.
Well, my landlady here is a sort of amateur psychiatrist. A devotee of Freud, constantly analyzing.
I know the sort.
You'll meet her later, and her name is Breedlove, because she's offered a wonderful room for you to stay in while you're here. Well, the question that I wanted to ask you reminded me of her. I confessed to her the other day how I always thought that the mother that I always knew wasn't my real mother, and the daddy I loved so much wasn't my real daddy.
And what did she say?
Well, she said it was a common fantasy of childhood, and she's even had it herself.
It's certainly common.
But that doesn't help me. I still have that same old feeling that you're not really mine.
Has something happened to make you think of this lately?
Yes.
What is it?
My little girl, Rhoda.
What about her?
She terrifies me. I'm afraid for her. I'm afraid of what she may have inherited from me.
What could she inherit?
Father, Daddy, whose child am I?
Oh, mine.
Daddy dear, it's gone beyond the point where lying will help. I've told you about a dream I had, and I'm not sure it's all a dream. Whose child am I? Are you my father? And if you're not, you must tell me, for Rhoda's sake and mine.
What has Rhoda done?
I don't know, but I'm afraid.
It cannot be inherited. Cannot.
Father, you're not well.
No, I'll be all right. It's a slight case of fibrillation. Quite normal at my age. Can I have a glass of water, please? Well, fibrillation, there's always a slight bit. Also, quite normal.
Here you are.
Thank you. I'll be all right.
I'm sorry. I won't ask any more questions.
Yes, that would be best. Let's just close the book.
Well, I have the answer now.
The answer?
Yes.
I've always considered myself to be a very fortunate man, Christine. I could tell you a long history of jobs that came in the nick of time, lost money found, friends who showed up to pay old debts just when I needed the money. At every main turning point in my life, there was some good fairy that seemed to intervene and put things my way. The biggest piece of luck I ever had was that same eye reason that kept me going. A little girl named Christine. You were the only child I ever had. My life was futile and barren before you came. You did magic for me. You made my life bearable. I changed my own way of life. I kept going because of you.
You don't have to say anymore.
I don't do it.
Found you somewhere?
Yes, in a strange place and in a strange way.
I think that I know that place.
I don't think you could. You were less than 2 years old.
I either remember it or I dream it.
What kind of dream?
Well, I dream of a farmhouse in the countryside. There were orchards. And I share my room with my brother, who is older than I am. And my mother comes to take care of him. She's a graceful, lovely woman, like an angel. Well, I suppose my brother must have died, because afterwards, I'm alone in that room. One night, I wake feeling terrified, and for some reason, I can't stay in that house. So I climb out the window, and I drop to the grass below, and I hide myself beyond the first orchards. I don't recall much more, except that towards morning, I'm thirsty, and I keep eating the yellow pippins that are falling from the trees. Some distance away, I can hear my mother calling my name, but I don't answer because I'm afraid. Was this a dream? Was it only a dream?
What name did you?
Well, it wasn't Christine. Could it be Ingold?
You remember that name?
Yes, it was Ingold. Ingold Denker. She... Denker. Daddy, you've concealed something from me all these years, haven't you? I came out of that household, and you found me there.
Oh, it was the neighbors who found you. Your mother had vanished and we never knew where she went. She left one child, one sweet, innocent little girl, with the most enchanting smile I'd ever seen. I was there working on the case for Chicago paper. I wired my wife to join me, and we just couldn't resist you.
Why did you leave me there?
It was the neighbors who found me. They were the ones who saved you. You ever rather have stayed with them?
No. You know that I wouldn't. You've been a wonderful father. But that place, and that evil woman, my mother.
There are places and events in every man's life that he'd rather not remember. But don't let it hurt you now. It's past and it doesn't touch you.
I wish I died then. I wish it. Wish it.
It hasn't mattered where you came from. You've been kind and sweet and loving. You've given me more than I ever gave or I could ever repay. You knew nothing but love and kindness from us, and you've given nothing but love and kindness in return. Kenneth loves you, and you've made him very happy. And Rhoda's a sound, sweet, perfect little girl.
Is she, Father? Is she really?
What has she done?
Well, it's just as if she was born blind.
It cannot happen. It does not happen.
started yet. And I haven't met Mr. Bravo. I'm the oversized analyst who's promised to put you up and not to annoy you.
Well, you know what newspapermen are like. Crusty, bitter, irascible. If you can put up with me, you're a saint.
Where's Daddy?
Rhoda!
Isn't she perfection?
Next to Daddy, he lifts me up back. Why do you look at me?
Well, I want to see your face.
These pen marks are the best papers I could ever want. Now I'm going to want to have Rhoda for dinner every night. Mr. Bravo, tell me, didn't you write the fingerprint series?
I'm afraid I was very guilty of that about 20 years ago.
I loved it. I bought the first one and read it to pieces until the parts I loved were wedding, illegible.
I finally met my public.
Well, I didn't disappoint you.
I like the way you read books. It's good for my royalties.
Daddy, it's time to get dinner for us.
Maybe I should find my room and get ready for this evening.
I'll take you up now if you like.
If you'll be so kind.
It's right upstairs. If I proceed, I'm on it.
Nothing.
Is that the incinerator?
Yes.
What is it?
Some things you told me to throw away.
Let me search that package.
No.
Let me see it.
No! No!
You did with the shoes, didn't you? Tell me the truth. Dad said those half moon marks in his hands and forehead. Answer me! Answer me!
I hit him with the shoes. I had to hit him with the shoes, Mother. What else could I do?
Do you know that you murdered him?
It was his fault. If he would have given me the medal like I told him to, I wouldn't have hit him.
Start from the beginning and tell me what happened. I know that you killed him, so there's no sense in lying again. Why don't you tell me the truth?
I can't, Mother. I can't tell you.
But I want you... Rhoda, I'm waiting for your answer. You must know now.
He wouldn't give me the medal like I told him to. That was all. So then he ran away from me and hid on the wharf. But I found him there. And I told him I'd hit him with my shoe if he didn't give me the medal. And he shook his head and said no. So I hit him the first time and he gave it to me.
What happened then?
Well, he tried to run away from me. And he kept on crying and making a noise. And I thought someone would hear. So I hit him again. I hit him harder this time and he fell in the water.
Oh my God. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
I've got the prettiest mother. I've got the sweetest mother. I tell everyone I've got the sweetest mother.
How did you get the bruises on the back of the pen?
He tried to pull himself back onto the wharf. I wouldn't have kept hitting him, only said he was going to tell on me. Mommy, please don't let them hurt me.
I won't let them hurt you. I don't know what must be done now, but I promise that nobody will hurt you.
I won't play the way we used to, Mommy. Will you play with me? If I give you a basket of kisses, what will you give me?
Rhoda, go to your room and read.
Can't you answer me, Mother? If I give you a basket of kisses,
Rhoda, I have to think of something to do. Promise you won't tell anybody else what you just told me.
why would I tell him get killed?
Rhoda, what happened to old Miss Post in Baltimore? I know so much. None will better now.
There was ice on the steps, and I slipped and fell against her. That was all.
That was all?
No. I slipped on purpose.
Rhoda, take your shoes and put them in the incinerator. Hurry! Hurry, Rhoda! Put them in the incinerator and burn them quickly!
What will you do with the metal, Mother?
I have to think of something to do.
You won't give it to Miss Fern?
No, I won't give it to Miss Fern.
No, Mr. Bravo isn't here. He's upstairs. Guess I could write a message. Yes, sir. I'll tell him. Goodbye. I found out about one license hold. There's no such thing as a stick bloodhound.
I'm not supposed to talk to little Miss Goody.
Then don't.
Where's your mama?
Upstairs.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. For your own sake. There may not be any stick bloodhound, but there is a stick. And you better find it before they do, or else they'll fry you in the electric chair.
There wasn't any stick any more than there was any stick bloodhound.
You know the sound the electric chair makes. It goes, and then you shrivel all up, like baby, when your mama fries it in the morning.
They don't put little girls in the electric chair.
Oh, they don't? They got a little blue chair for little boys, and a little pink chair for little girls. I just remember something. The morning of the picnic. You wore those shoes with the cleats on them. They used to go tap, tap, tap on the wall. How come you don't wear them no more?
You're silly. I never had a pair of shoes like that.
They used to go tap, tap, tap on the wall. I spilled water. Then I brought them off.
They hurt my feet and I gave them away.
You know something? You didn't hit that boy with no stick, did you? You hit him with the shoes. Ain't I right this time?
It's just more lies. Nobody has those shoes. I burn them. I put them in the incinerator and I burn them. Nobody's got them.
I don't say that wasn't smart. It was. But let's just say that I heard them shoes coming down the incinerator. And I said to myself, sounds to me like a pair of shoes with cleats on them. Now, they all burnt some, but they're not burnt all of them like you wanted them.
Yes.
Now, listen here, and let's just figure out which one of us is the silly one. Now, I'm working, and I hear them shoes coming down the incinerator. Now I go to the door quick, and there they is, sitting on the coals, only smoking the least little bit. Now, They are scorched some, but there's still enough left to turn blue. Still enough left to fry you in the electric chair.
Give me back those shoes.
Well, I've got those shoes here where nobody but me can find them.
They're mine. Give them back to me.
I'm not giving them shoes back to nobody, Steve.
Give them back to me, Leroy.
I am keeping them shoes until I... Who said I had any shoes of my own? I've got work to do.
Give me back my shoes.
Now, Rhoda, I was just teasing you. I haven't got them.
Give me back my shoes, Leroy.
Now, Rhoda, go practice your piano lesson. I was just teasing you. Don't you know when somebody's teasing you?
Give them back to me.
I said I haven't got them. I keep telling you.
You've got my shoes. You've got them hid. You bring them here, right here to me.
You know something? I was just fooling at first. But now I believe you killed that boy. You killed him with your shoes.
Bring me back my shoes, Leroy.
Why? There's somebody in the hall.
What were you saying, Rhoda?
Nothing.
I heard you say, bring me back my shoes.
He said he had my shoes.
I don't have anybody's shoes of my own. There's a number for Mr. Bravo to call.
We go now, Leroy.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I have for you, my darling. Daddy, there's a number here for you to call.
Thank you.
Here's the card.
Hello, Murray. Easy, Hamlet. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry right now, but this is embarrassing. Just couldn't wait. Well, when does it leave? Yeah, I've had breakfast. If I get in a taxi now, it's just me. Sure, I'd like to go on the race. I've never seen it before. All right, think that's another. Bye. I have to go away for a couple of days, but I would like to make this my headquarters for the next few weeks.
As long as you can stand it.
Rhoda?
Yes, Granddaddy?
You ought to fasten your smile. There's unfair things to your elders. You be a good girl while Grandpa's gone, okay? I really have to go, Christine. I'll pick up the taxi at the corner. You were the first thing in my life. You were the one I loved. The one I lived for. No matter what happens, I always want you to remember. Oh. My bag is there. Don't come along, it'll be quicker.
Mother, could I have a popsicle?
Yes, go ahead and take the money out of my purse. Hot today. The streets seem deserted. What are you doing with those?
Oh, I guess I just wasn't thinking.
I'll take them. feel it? Yes. Do you take vitamins regularly? No. Well, you should. That's one of the things we know. Have a great combination. I'll bring them down for you. Are you ill? Do you suspect some kind of disease? Something like cancer? Because if you do, there's a lot we can do for it, and we need to get started right away. I'm perfectly healthy and sound, as far as I know. Now you really must forgive me. But is it Kenneth? Is this secretary more to him than just an expert on politics? Does she make a mess for him among the office buildings? No, there's nothing like that. I wish I were sure of other things, as I am with Kenneth. Do you sleep enough? No, not always. Then you'll need some sleeping pills. I'll bring those down also. And I won't bully you anymore. I'll just tell you that I love you truly and deeply. And so does Emily. But I don't have to tell you that because you already know. What is it? You could tell me. Okay. Maybe you feel better now. Maybe if you get some sleep. I'll get rid of the evidence.
Bring up high. You don't want me here and I want to be here. But I can't get away, so I got nothing came over.
You're very welcome.
Like a skunk, I know. Miss Breedlove knows everybody. Knows even me.
How are you, Miss Bagel?
Mom has to see the rest of all. I just wanted to come by and talk to your little girl. She was the last to see my father alive. Where do you keep the perfect little lady? Who was the last to see my father?
Sounds like playing.
It's just unfortunate, that's all. Drunk and unfortunate. At least she was right outside when I came by, ladies and gentlemen.
She isn't there now.
She's a perfect little lady. Anybody any trouble? That's what I heard. Have you got anything to drink in the house? Anything at all? I prefer bourbon and water, but anything will do. Oh wait, he's straight. Real pause and ask your wife. I called Miss Bird on the phone a dozen times because she knows something. But she keeps giving me the brush off.
Are you all right there?
I'm not intoxicated in the slightest, Miss Miller. Kindly don't talk now. I've been through enough without that.
I brought that change, Mother. Very well. Miss Bagel's here to see you.
So this is your little girl. Oh, Oswald so often on you? And it's such nice terms. You said you're so bright in school. So you're Rhoda. Yes. Come, Rhoda. Let me take a look at you. How about giving your Aunt Martin some big kiss? You were with Paul when you had an accident, weren't you, dear? You were the little girl who was so sure she was going to win that medal, and you didn't. Claude won the medal, didn't he? Now, would you say that he won it fair and square, or that he cheated? You see, these things are so important to me now that he's dead. Would you say that it was fair that he won this medal? Because if it was fair, why'd you go after him for it? I want my popsicle.
Rhoda, if you're going to go with me, we're going to have to leave now. Mr. Painter's going to show us his collection.
Right now?
Yes, we're a little late as it is. Come, Rhoda, you can wash upstairs.
Well, I'm upset.
They do have an appointment.
I'm sure they do. Or practices here. Of course, I thought that Rhoda was like any other little girl that stayed home with my or mother. They go kicking all over town with important appointments. I'm sorry, Christine. I apologize to you. I'll apologize to Rhoda as soon as I can have an appointment. I wasn't going to contaminate her in the slightest degree.
Hello? Hello? Yes, Miss Bagel. She's here. No problem at all.
You thought I was trying to make an spectacle of myself? You tell her to call off the patrol wagon?
You heard what I said. I told her only that you were here. Sister-in-law said that she's at the drugstore on the corner.
I was only going to hold her in my arms and ask her for this question.
Perhaps next time would be better.
You think it's because of Lit? Well, I'm not Lit in the slightest degree, I do. But Rhoda knows more than she's saying. It reminds me of being the drugstore. I talked to that car, remember? He said that he saw Rhoda on the porch just before my car was found among the piles. You're thinking, how can I get rid of this little pet? You may fool some people with that really mouth of yours, Miss Mark. But you look like that in primer to me.
Then perhaps you just better not come here anymore.
I wouldn't come here for $1 million later on the line. I would have come here now and I learned about Rhoda's social obligations. I won't wait for someone. I'll go for myself. I know I'm not wanted. And I'm not wanted in a place where people have all these social obligations to get what I need. You look a little sickly sloppy, Mr. Mark. Why don't you come to my house for a free beauty treatment? If you're such ready for cash. It won't cost you a nickel.
Miss Bagel. Thank you, Miss Bagel. Come, boys. It's time to go home.
Oh, God. It's time to go home. Christine.
Hello, operator? I'd like you to call to Washington, D.C. Kenneth. Darling Kenneth, what can I say to you? Your daughter is... Never mind, operator. Cancel the call. Good, she's gone. Sweet, I know I shouldn't take things into my own two capable hands, but I couldn't let her pause about it any longer. And I fear I've been indisciplined. Just a little. I'd let Rhoda go for another popsicle.
Did she want another?
It's most unusual. She seemed quite eager. And I figured she's not one of those fat little blobs. Emery called while I was upstairs. He and Regina Taxford are coming to store some fishing equipment. I made lunch for them. Would you like to come up and eat with us? You and Rhoda both?
Mom, I'd rather not really.
I do bully you so. And I promised I wouldn't. What was that? That was when they were shouting fire.
Downstairs.
Let's have the sleeping pills. The vitamins. Thank you.
Rhoda, did you hear anybody shouting?
No,
It sounds like someone was shouting fire, Rhoda.
I don't think so, Mother.
The garage is on fire. They're gonna break down the garage door. There's a man on fire. They're burning, and the walls are burning. And right there, and right there. It's too late. He's lying still. That was before we got to the pond. Anything that can be done will be done. First time I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. Why am I so blind? Thank God when I was in the den and heard none of this.
I was in the garage where Leroy was.
There's nothing we can do.
Monica, I can still hear him. I can still hear him screaming. And the piano just goes on and on while he's dying in fire. And he's screaming. Screaming a man's scream. I don't want to see anybody now.
Wait, it's probably Emily and Regina.
Everything all right?
Yes.
It's just a flare from the garage. But I guess Leroy.
Never mind.
You can say it. I know about Leroy. I saw him run down the walk and die. Could there be anything worse than that?
Yes, you did see the worst of it, Miss Penmore. That's what happens is he fell asleep on the bed of his cells he made for himself down in the garage. Cigarettes set fire to the stuff.
Excelsior burns like gasoline when it's dry.
You better leave me alone with Christine for a while. Now, Christine.
Oh, God. Harmless, I tell you. How could you play that tingle now? Rhoda, get out of here. Rhoda, stop that music. Rhoda, Christine, Rhoda, get out of here.
It makes sense, Christine.
Rhoda. Don't let me get my hair done, Rhoda, get me. You can look away from the piano. Last time I saw it. It's out there.
What has she done?
Is Mommy sick, Aunt Monica?
Not what she's done. What I've done.
What does she need, Monica?
What do you thought it had to do with me upstairs? She'll stay until you calm her.
Yes, take her. Take her.
Will you be all right?
Yes, all that screaming goes on and on.
Well, come down with me.
She killed him. She's my little baby and I love her. I love her.
a hard time. She had promised herself that she would see one. You have some vitamins to take tonight?
A new one?
Yes.
May I see them, please?
Of course. They're the ones that Monica sent down for us.
I think Monica likes me.
Sure she does.
Taking pills is getting trick.
Very good at it.
You love me, Mommy?
Yes.
Do you know about Leroy?
Yes.
Did you do anything with the medal?
I drove back to Benedict today to see Miss Fern. And I made the decision to go out here alone. And I dropped the medal somewhere in the people out of there.
Mommy, Leroy said he had my shoes, and that he was going to tell the police, and they put me in the electric chair. So I had to tell him. I mean, I had to.
I know.
Will you read more to me?
Yes, first you can take all these.
I took another box of matches, and I lit the Excelsior, and then I locked the door. It wasn't my fault, Mommy. Leroy shouldn't have said he had my shoes and that he was going to tell the police.
You don't keep us saying anymore.
So many pills?
And a new kind. I'm going to take them too.
Please don't let them hurt me.
I won't let them hurt you. Good night.
Hi, Mama. I love you.
When Polly was all dressed, she found her shawl and crept very quietly out of the room and out the front door. The door creaked, and she waited and listened. But nobody woke up. She closed the door carefully and looked at the bright moon and the shining cold snow. Carters must have a tree. They lived like 2 blocks away, and if you left the curtains open, you could look in and see it. If only there weren't any dogs. Polly walked carefully in the hard snow on the walk, keeping the warm shawl close around her. It was further than she had remembered to the Carter's house, but she could see that there were lights in the windows. She came near, only making a little creaking noise on the snow, and stood for a while in front of the house before she dared go near. Then she gathered all her courage and walked across the yard, her shoes sinking through the crust. The Christmas tree was right in the front window, and the lights were on in the house, so she could see the fruits and bells and strings of popcorn and candy, and the silver star at top. Take you away from me. They take you away and lock you up and put you in some kind of institution. Nobody can save you from that unless I save you. So sleep well and dream well. The only child who can help you like but I shall speak cheap. Make coffee if anybody wants it.
That's a thought.
I'm in favor.
Coffee, Kenneth?
No thanks, Monica. I could almost believe that I could see her face again. Until they lowered that coffin in the earth. And then I knew I'd never see her again. Monica, she was closer to me than anyone else the last couple days. Did you see anything? There was any type of reason?
Gone over it and over in my head. Till I'm almost distracted. Talked to everyone who knew her. They're all just too shocked to see her. Seems there was no reason at all.
There had to be a reason. Christine just didn't do things without a reason. Her father died suddenly, sir.
Yes, he'd had a series of attacks. He knew that Christine's death just seemed to be too much for his heart.
He had some word of the other. He was connected to his father.
I think she brooded over the Dago boy's death and the death of Leroy.
She was hysterical at the time of the fire. But that wasn't understandable.
When it happened, how did you find her? Did you hear the shot?
We heard it and ran right down. She shot herself in the head after giving Rhoda a deadly dose of sleeping pills. Seems that she thought they should die together.
Could she? Could Christine have been insane?
No, I think we can rule that out. Talked with her not shortly ago. She shuddered somewhat at my murder cases, but her comments were completely level-headed.
No, he was crazy.
I don't know all of it. I don't know that I will.
There's something else.
Nothing does. The army, my promotion, the career. It was Christine that kept me afloat, not any of that.
He was the one who was wrong.
And she left me. She crept down deep in the earth. And I don't know why. She didn't want to live.
You're lucky, Kenneth. If we hadn't heard the shot, we could have lost Rhoda, too. Rhoda!
You like me, Daddy? I've waited for you.
Rhoda. My Rhoda.
I love you, Daddy.
There is still a little Christine left. And it's in your smile.
What will you give me for a basket of kisses?
For a basket of kisses, my darling, I'll give you a basket of hugs.
Our student director, Andrea Anthony. And so on our pop crew, Dawn. Come out, Dawn back there. Come out. People up in the booth, responsible for lights and sound. And the understudies, and I'm not exactly sure where they're at, but they're around here somewhere.